Very good evening, all of you. Hope you all are well. Today we'll start with arrays in Java. Okay. So now, in the past session, we have discussed about control structure also. Some data types, operators, keywords, identifiers. So some elementary programming is done. Now we have to start with arrays, and after arrays, then we will be starting with classes, objects. Okay. So now first of all, what do you mean by array? Right? Array are collection of elements. Array are collection of elements of same type. Getting? Means you can say array is collection of homogeneous elements, or it is a collection of elements of same type. Right? Okay. So what you can define an array as? So array is collection of elements of same type, or you can say homogeneous element. Homogeneous means those which are having same characteristics, same properties. Getting? So if it is a collection of elements of same type, means if all are integer, then each and every element in that array will be integer only. If it's an array of float, so all the elements will be of type float. Okay? Then next important point you have to remember that arrays come under reference type. They are not primitive type. As I said, like in Java, data types are only two types. One is primitive data type and another is non-primitive. Getting? Primitive also called as scalar. Non-primitive also called as vector. Primitive also called as elementary. Non-primitive is also called as group type. Getting? So always remember, and in Java, when the values are not primitive, they are objects. And if it's an object, it is a reference type. Getting? So always remember, arrays are always in Java what? Reference type. Getting? They come under reference type. That is, all arrays in Java are objects. But again, you will have a doubt. If it's an object, then does it belong to some class? Yes. What is its class name and all? I'll tell you, don't worry. Okay. Then they all are stored in contiguous memory location or continuous memory location. You understanding? Clear? Continuous meaning memory locations, or contiguous meaning one after another. All are kept in one after another memory location, or each element, you can say, is at a fixed distance apart. That is, each element is at fixed distance apart. Getting? Means each and every memory element will be at a fixed distance apart. Like if first element is going to take 4 bytes, so immediately next will be taking 4 byte which is adjacent to it. Next will take 4 byte which is adjacent to it. So all are going to take contiguous memory location. Getting? Clear? And all the elements share same name. Okay? Each element is accessed by index. You have to access each value by mentioning the index. And all the elements are going to share same name. They will have common name. But how you will identify each element? So you have to identify each element by index. Getting? By using a subscript operator, that is square sign, square bracket. It's called as a subscript operator. Getting? So each element we access by index, and the index start with 0. Okay, now don't try to apply the same principle in Python, or don't try to apply Python principle here. There the indexes are negative also, positive also. Here strictly indexes are positive only, starting with 0. Here you cannot give negative indexes and all. Getting? Here it will throw a error for negative index. Okay, so all the elements will share the same name. As I said, each and every element in the memory is at contiguous memory location. Every one is at a fixed distance apart from each other, because they all are of same data type. So everyone is going to take fixed memory, suppose W. So everyone is taking W bytes only, W bytes. So obviously they are from each other at a fixed distance. Agreed? And then they all are going to share some common name. Getting? And then you identify each value by the index. Okay? You identify each value by the index. Is it clear to you? Okay? So I hope it is clear. Now I'll just tell you how to create these arrays. Okay? First we'll discuss about one-dimensional array. Then we will talk about two-dimensional array, and then that concept in general can be extended to any dimension. Okay? So first we'll just talk about how to create one-dimensional array or 1D array. Okay? Now you may ask, like, why we call it as one-dimensional? Because it is accessed using only one subscript. Okay? One subscript means only one square sign. When we have array of array, means you are having one array and in which each element is itself an array. You understanding? One element is an array. Second element is also itself an array. Getting? Then we'll call it as an array of array or two-dimensional array. Because here we are going to use how many subscripts? Two subscripts or two square bracket. Getting? So as many subscript, that many dimensions. That simple it is. So if you are accessing the elements by one subscript, it will be called as, or accessing or declaring by one subscript, it is a one-dimensional. Two subscripts, two-dimensional. That's simple. And two-dimensional meaning array of array. Getting? And one-dimensional means array of elements. Many elements are there, and that elements array becomes a one-dimensional. And arrays array, if you are having one array, two array, three array, and they are array of array, so it will be called as a 2D. Getting? Array of many 2Ds will be called as a 3D. This can go on. This concept can be extended. So when we'll come to 2D, 3D, I'll tell you. First we'll just talk about one-dimensional array. First I'll just tell you how to declare it. I'll just try to prove also that every array is internally an object. Always remember, every array is internally an object. Getting? Because I told you that in Java, when the values are not primitive, they are objects. If it's primitive, then it is only 8 data type. You know it. Boolean, then byte short, int long, float, double, character. If it is not from that 8 type, then it is an object, which is a user defined type made from this primitive types. Getting? So array also come under which category? Primitive or non-primitive? Non-primitive. It is non-primitive, and if it is non-primitive, it's an object according to Java. And if it is object, it is having a reference. It comes under reference category. Okay. So first I'll just tell you how to create one-dimensional array. Always remember there are two steps: array declaration and array instantiation. Okay. Same like objects. I have already told you in Java, writing cat money is not creating an object. It is just declaring the object. When I write cat money, only the reference variable is created. That is, money as a reference variable is created on the stack, and unless and until you write money equal to new cat, this I have told you many times in the past, so using new only the memory is allocated. How much memory? As much is needed for cat properties. Like cat will have its height, weight, color, breed, whatever. So for its properties, as much memory is needed, that much is allocated. Maybe for its height, color, weight, breed, and then the reference of that memory is copied in this money variable. Getting? Exact same policies for array, because arrays also come under which category? I told you, arrays are reference category, and every array is internally an object. So first you have to declare array. Okay, so how to declare array? See here, you have to write data type, whatever the data type is, name of the array, and then square bracket. Okay, always remember, whenever you are declaring array in Java, never you have to give size. Unlike C, C++, there is opposite. Over there you have to strictly give size. There you cannot leave it blank. Here you cannot write anything. If you write over here, syntax error will come. You have to leave it blank. Okay, but this is just an array declaration. Remember, array declaration. Okay, means what has happened? It has just created a reference variable, array name, as a reference variable on the stack. Array is not yet instantiated. Okay, and remember, both syntaxes are allowed. Data type, square array name, both allowed. Either you can write the square bracket afterwards or square bracket before. It's your choice. Getting? Java says that writing square bracket later and writing square bracket before doesn't make any difference. Both are going to do array declaration. Means both are going to just create a reference variable. Array is not yet instantiated. Okay, but there is a difference of writing square before and after, but when that difference will be identified, I'll tell you. See here, if you are writing integer a square, and along with that if you are creating two more variables, b and c, or you are writing integer square first, a, and then two more variable. Getting? Now there is a difference. Okay, what the difference is? Obviously a and b in both the contexts are array reference only. Understand, na guys? A is going to contain array reference, but b and c are just going to contain integer. You understanding, guys? In the first example, a is a reference variable. See here, a is a reference variable in which the reference of an array is going to come, because yet the array is not instantiated. Means the memory for array will be allocated on the heap, and then the reference of that will come in A, which has not come. Getting? But b and c are simple integer variables. B is an integer variable. In this, integer will be stored. C is an integer variable in which integer is stored. So b and c are simple integer. Understanding? And a is going to contain the reference of an array, but yet the array is not created, guys, because yet the array is not instantiated. You have just declared the array. I hope you all are hearing me carefully. Getting? If you have joined, means obviously you have joined for hearing me. Clear? Okay. That is the main thing. People don't want to learn free. We are teaching you all the concepts, but the pathetic thing is people don't want to learn free also. Basically, people don't want to learn only. That is the thing. So A is going to contain the reference, and b and c are simple integer variable. In this integer is stored. But in the second case, see here, I wrote square before. Getting? I have written square before. In that case, all three are array declarations. Means in this case it is saying all three are going to hold reference of an array. B also will hold the reference of an array, and C also is going to hold reference of an array. I hope it is clear. So A is a reference variable, B is a reference variable, C is a reference variable, and all three are going to hold the reference of an array of that particular data type. Here I have written integer, means it indicates the array is going to contain integer. You understanding? So hope the difference between both the declarations are clear to you. Writing square after and writing square before doesn't make difference if this B and C is not there. If B and C is not getting declared along with it, then both are same. A is also going to contain array reference. Here also A is going to contain array reference. But in the first case, B and C are just going to contain integer. Whereas here, all three are going to contain array reference. You understanding, guys? A will also contain array reference, B will also contain array reference, C will also contain array reference. But they are going to contain array reference of which array? Integer array. Okay. Now array declaration is done. Now we have to go for array instantiation. Instantiation means actually allocating memory for the array elements. Whatever your array elements are, so we have to allocate memory for the array elements. Isn't it, guys? Okay, so how to allocate memory? So that is array instantiation. See here. Now how to do array instantiation? Array name equal to new data type and square bracket size you have to give. Okay, this is called as array instantiation, meaning here the actual memory is allocated for your array. Getting? And how much memory is allocated? Whatever size you have given. This size can be greater than or equal to 0. It cannot be negative. Getting? It can be 0. Means in true false I'll ask, creating a 0 size array is valid or no? 100% valid. Getting? You can create a 0 size array, but it should be 0 or more. It cannot be negative. Getting? Now what will happen? It will allocate how many elements memory. As much you give the size, that many elements memory, and one element size depends on the data type. If here the data type is double, one element will take 8 into size. If it is character, so 2 bytes, because in Java character take 2 bytes. So 2 into size. If it is byte, so 1 byte into size. Whatever data type you give. And remember, this data type can be primitive also or reference also. You understanding? The data type can be primitive also and reference also. Meaning you can create array of primitive and you can create array of user defined types also. User defined data type arrays also you can create. Getting? That is array of objects also you can create. I'll tell you about that separately. We'll talk about that in detail again. Instantiation is clear to you. Now for example, I am writing a equal to new int square 5. This 5 you can take from user also. Each and every point you remember, guys. Okay, this size can be taken at runtime from user. it is not necessarily supposed to be constant. This size can be accepted at runtime from user, and depending on that size, array can be created at runtime. So now in this case, A is already declared, means a reference variable is already created. Getting? Assume like that. A is a reference variable which is created on the stack part, right? That is the declaration. And when I am writing A equal to new int 5, it is going to allocate memory for 5 integers. You understanding? It will allocate memory for 5 integers on the heap. Okay? And its reference will come here in your A variable. So A variable will contain the reference of your whole array. Correct? So now when the reference is there, means it's an object, because in Java when it is primitive it is not object, and when it is not primitive it is sure object. And in Java every object will have its own reference. Reference means object, object means reference. That is a rule of Java, please remember. Correct? So in A, the reference of this array will come. Only the speciality is you can use square operator on this object to access these values by giving the index, 0 index, 1 index, 2 index. So you can give the index and access the value by using square operator, which is called as a subscript operator. Okay, and the speciality of Java is these arrays will never have garbage value. They will be automatically initialized to their default value. Let it be you create an instance array, or you create a static array, or you create a local array. Doesn't matter. You understanding, guys? Let it be you are creating which array? A instance array. Instance array means what you know. Instance array means which is part of each object. See here, you are creating here an array, new int 5. You are creating a static array, static int b square equal to new int 5. So this b is a static member. Static member means, is it shared by all the objects of test class? Will all the objects of test class share this one single b? Yes. But this a will be separate for each object of test class because it's an instance member. And if you create public static void main string args, and in main you are creating an array, integer c square equal to new int 5. Correct? So this is a local array. So you create a local array, you create a static array, or you create an instance array. Let it be any type of array. Array will never have garbage, means it will never have uninitialized data. It will be initialized by default to its default type, and default values you know. I have taken the default value concept. Correct? Like if it is in an integer category, then it will have default value as 0 or 0L. If it is in float, so it is 0.0f or 0.0d. Getting? If it's character, then backslash u 000. If it is boolean, then it is false. And if it is reference, then it is null. I hope you know it. Clear? So all these are the default values. All these arrays will have their default value. So as it is integer, it will have default 0000. Getting? If it is a boolean, so it will have false, 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 false. Never your array will have uninitialized data. It will sure have an initialized data. Getting? Now you may have a question, how come it gets initialized? I'll come to it. But before that, just quickly to recall how to declare array. I told you. Is it right? Declaration syntax is clear. Data type, array name, square bracket. This is declaration. Instantiation. Array name equal to new data type and square bracket size. Is it right? You can combine this both. Okay, you can combine this both thing. You can write data type array name square bracket equal to new data type square bracket size. Getting? I told size has to be what? Strictly greater than equal to 0. Okay, and data type can be primitive or reference also. Means you can create an array of primitives, array of objects also. You can create an array of objects, or you can create array of primitives also. Getting? Concept is clear to you. What happens is clear. Whatever array name you give, it just creates a reference variable of that name on the stack. And when you use new, it will actually allocate memory. As much memory is needed for one data type multiplied by that size, that much contiguous memory on the heap, and the reference is stored in this variable. And using that reference, can you access the array? Yes, using array name square bracket index. Okay, so concept of that is clear to you. Yes or no? Now just give me quick confirmation, and then I'll try to tell you something more. That one point I told, that every array are internally objects. Getting? And if they are objects of some class or the other. Getting? If it is an object, it is sure an object of some class or the other. Right, guys? Okay? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, it is an object of which class? All that I'll tell you. See here, guys, if you create an array like this is declaration. Immediately you are instantiating. Okay? Both things can be combined. Declare and instantiation can be done in one line also. It is allowed. Okay, guys? Okay? Now, already I have told you, it is going to create first a reference variable. It's going to create a reference variable A on the stack part. Yet the reference has not come. Now, what is this new doing? See here. It is allocating memory for 5 integers. Isn't it? It will allocate memory for 5 integers. Okay? And actually this is getting encapsulated within an object. Okay? And it is also going to have one final property. Final means you cannot modify it. It will have one final property called length, and that will get initialized with the size which you gave at the time of instantiation. What you gave size as 5. So it has created a 5 integer array, and the length is initialized with 5, and these both things are encapsulated within an object of some class. Now you may say what? So it is called as a proxy class. Okay, proxy class or dummy class. And every data type will have its own proxy class. Okay, for integer, the name of the proxy class is square bracket I. This is the name of the proxy class. I'll tell you, I'll prove and show you. So this is the proxy class for integer array. So it has created an object of this class, guys. And that object will contain what within it? What is encapsulated within that object? The array of 5 integers, and this is the length property, final property. Initialize with that value which you pass to square, and then the reference of this object come here in A. Getting? Only the specialities on this A square operator is overloaded. Though A is an object, you can use square operator on it and access the elements in it. If I say A of 2, so it will access the second value. A of 0, 0th value. A of 1, 1th value. Getting? And even you can access this length. When I write A dot length, getting? It will give you that 5. When you are saying A dot length, this itself proves that A is a object. Because you know that using dot, what we access, members we access using dot operator. Getting? This sign itself signifies that A is the object. A dot length. So it is accessing its length property. You are getting, guys? Okay? And in this array, never you will have a garbage, uninitialized name. It will have a default value. So if it's an integer array, it's going to have 0, 0, 0. If it's a Boolean array, it will have false, false, false. Getting? It's a array of objects. Means you have some other class and then you have created an array of that objects. Then it will have by default null, null, null. Getting? And see here, this length property is added in this proxy class. That gives you one more benefit, that whenever you want to pass this array to a function, you don't have to extra pass the length. Length is already there in that object. If you recall C and all, in C if you write any function to which you are passing an array, so actually you are passing only the array's base address, obviously. Yes or no? In C and all, when you are passing an array, you are passing array's base address. But along with that, if you recall second year data structures and all, you might have done sorting program, searching program and so many, where you were passing array. Along with that, you used to pass the number of elements in that array also separately in n. In Java, you don't have to pass it. Why? Because in that object only that length property is there. Getting, guys? Okay? So I hope it is clear to you guys. Okay? Now this part is clear. Array declaration, array instantiation, then every array is an object of its corresponding proxy class, all that you know. Can you people tell me, if you recall, I have taken this back when we took string concatenation operator and all. That time I have told you also, like if I create cat money, new cat, and if I pass to system.out.println or print and I pass money to it, what happens? Do you remember it, guys? Whenever I pass this money object, is here some implicitly method called as a magic method? Do you remember this? I'm sure I have taught you.
Yes, sir.
What is the name of that magic method in context of Java? Means I am writing system.out. Pardon?
Constructor.
No, constructor is called here. Constructor is also a magic method, no doubt. But constructor is called here implicitly when you create an object of it. But when I pass that object to print, there also one magic method is called. If you remember string concatenation, that time also I told, like I wrote here hello plus E, where E is an object of employee. So one is an employee object and one is string object, and when you are writing plus, so this E gives call to some magic method. Loudly.
ToString.
Very good, very good, very good. ToString is called. See, at least one person remember. I'm happy that till the end of the course, if only one person is also there, I'm sure that person is going to take the best out of it. Getting? So E dot ToString. That ToString is a magic method, and that magic method is called here. We don't do it. We don't have to explicitly call. That's the reason it's called magic method. Magic methods means methods which are not to be called explicitly. They get called implicitly. Here also, as Shreya said, here also a magic method is called as a constructor. Here another magic method, that is toString. And then does it go to call that toString in that class whose object it is? So if it's an employee, so will it go in employee class? Getting? But suppose if it doesn't get in employee class, does it give an error or does it go to its parent? You remember, guys? Then in parent it's not there, then it will go to its parent. This way, if it reach to such class where parent is not there, so does Java provide one automatic parent? You remember or no?
Object.
Object, very good. There is a class called object, O capital. Please remember, whatever classes Sun has provided, never that class first letter will be small. By mistake also you should not type. You understanding? Right? It is always uppercase. So very good. Like E is the object of employee, suppose. So it will go and search toString in employee class. In employee class not found, then it goes in its parent, And this way if it reaches to such parent to whom the parent is not there. So does Java automatically provide a parent? Getting? Means in Java no class is orphan. Getting? So who is the automatic parent in Java? As she said, object. So does it call the toString of object class? Yes or no? So ultimately toString of object class is called. And what does object class toString print? Can you tell me?
Hash code.
Yes, very good. It will print the hash code. If it is object of employee class, emp and some hexadecimal hash code. Very good, guys. Means you are updating, means you are brushing up every day. You are just not attending the session. You are recalling also everything whatever I have told. It prints such hash code and before that the class name. Now you may be thinking why he is telling in between all this. I just want to prove that array is also an object. Clear? And therefore, see here guys, I am writing system.out.println and A. I am passing the name of the array. See here, array name I have passed. You understanding? 5 size integer array is created and its reference is in A and I am passing that A. What do you say, guys? Here also what is called toString. I just want to prove that this array is also an object. So it is an object of which class, guys? Just now I told you. I have used one term, if you remember. Every array is an object of which class? No? You don't remember? I have used one word. Tell me, guys. I gave the name also of it. See here. The class name printed is like this. Square I. Square, open square bracket I. If you create it, pardon? No, that is as it is integer. But what is the name of it? It's called as what? It's called as a proxy. Yes or no? Proxy class. It is called as a proxy class. Name of that class is open square I. As it is integer array, therefore this one. If it is float, it will be different. If it is boolean, it is different. You're getting? Like for boolean, it gives Z, square Z, because for byte it uses B. Getting? If it is long, it will take L, D. For double, it takes D. You understanding, guys? Clear? So every data type will have its corresponding proxy class. Okay, I'll show you that too. Don't worry, I'll print and show you. But what happens is, when you are writing system.out.println A, and where A is the array name, here A dot, what is called? toString. Getting? And that toString will print like this. See, square bracket I and some hexadecimal number. Getting? Means tell me when this class name @ something is coming. So actually this is printed by toString, but toString of which class? This type of output is displayed by the toString of which class?
Proxy class.
No. This type of output is printed by which class? Just before I wrote here money, or I wrote E, and then I said E.toString is called. So first it goes and search in employee. If not found, then it goes in parent. No, so it goes in parent, and this way when it reaches to such class which is not having parent, then it will take its automatic parent. Who is the automatic parent?
Object.
Object. Here also the same thing has happened. It has called, actually it has gone in proxy class only, no doubt. But proxy class is not having toString. So it will go to the parent. And is proxy class parent also object class? Yes, indeed. Because in Java, each and every class will have an automatic parent, and that is object. So that proxy class also will have a parent, that is object, and it will give call to toString of object class, which prints this hash code @ and the proxy class name. You are getting, guys? Okay? With this, what I wanted to prove, that arrays are also objects. Getting? One very simple example I'll try to show you. I'll give the class name as array test. Okay? See here, guys. Class array test. See carefully. Public static void name string args, and I'm creating just an integer array. You know, if I write int a square, is array created or only declared? Is actual array yet created or only array declaration is done? In Java, writing int a square and then giving the size in it is illegal. You cannot do like that. You have to only declare the array first. This is just the array declaration, meaning you have just created a variable a on the stack, and you are telling that in this a, the reference of an array of integer is going to come, but that reference has not come yet. When the reference will come? When you will do array instantiation. Getting, guys? When you will do array instantiation, then only the memory is allocated. And how we do array instantiation? By new. Then you will give the data type, that is int. Then I'll pass the element size, how many you want. Okay, so I have given 5, suppose. Now tell me, guys, if I write system.out.println a of 3, and I am writing system.out.println a, what will be the output? If you have understood it properly, please tell me. And then one more concept is there which I have to tell you. Okay, so tell me, if I write a of 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, so it's accessing third value, what will it print? If you remember, I've told you everything. Getting? I told that in Java, no arrays will have garbage value. Means if you create any array, let it be an instance array, let it be a static array, or let it be a local array. All arrays are, after instantiation, initialized to their default value. Had I told this point? Just tell me. If I have skipped that point, then tell me. But I hope I have told you that point.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I've told you that you create an array of any type, that array will be initialized to its default value. So tell me in this context, what will be A of 3? Will it be garbage or will it have its default value? What do you say? Yes, my dear students. Why you are taking so much time? When I'm saying that never the array will have garbage value, it will have always the default value. So this is which type of array? It's an integer array. So what will be its default value?
0 0.
Then the default value is 0. Then if you try to access A of 3, what will be the value over there?
0.
Then if it is a float array, it will have 0.0. If it is a boolean array, it will have false. If it's a reference array, means array of objects, it will have null over here. You are getting or no? Clear? Okay. So please understand what I am trying to tell you. So A of 3, if I write, it will print 0. And what it will print when I am passing A only? What is here going to get called? Just now I told you what is called when you pass an array object. Array is also an object. So what is called over here implicitly?
Integer 5.
I'm just passing the name of the array, and I just now proved that every array is an object of its corresponding proxy class. And whenever you pass the name of the array, what is called over here implicitly? You don't note down. Does it call its magic method toString? Yes or no? A dot toString. It will give call to toString. And will that toString return such string? Square bracket I at the rate and some hexadecimal number, which is the hash code. Getting or no? So what I wanted to prove, that every array is an object of its corresponding proxy class. When we have written integer a square equal to new int 5, what has happened? See here, pictorially I have shown you. Tell me, on the stack, has it just declared a as a reference variable? Right? It has declared a as a reference variable. Then we wrote new int 5 square. Getting? Has it allocated memory for 5 integers? Right? And length is initialized to that size. Getting? And they all are initialized to their default value. And this array and this length is actually encapsulated into that proxy object. And that proxy object reference will come here. It is an object of some proxy class. And I have told you, whenever you pass an object to print what is called implicitly, you pass object of any class. What is passed implicitly? If I write cat money equal to new cat, getting? And here if I pass that money to SOP, what will be getting called here? What will money implicitly call? It will give call to which magic method? it will give call to toString. Getting? Same is the case here. Here also it is not exception. Here a dot toString is called. With this only it is proved that though a is an array for you, for Java it is a object of some proxy class, and that proxy class will also have a parent class, that is object class, and it will give call to that toString. Getting? Always remember, whenever you pass an object to print, what is getting called implicitly. Whenever you pass object of any class, what is getting called implicitly? Magic method toString. Right? See here, I am giving array test, Java array test, enter. Can you see? Is it displaying 0? Have you observed it? Is it displaying 0? This proves that
Yes.
never array will be uninitialized. Every array will have their default value. And what is the default value? 0. Getting? And whenever you are passing the name of the array, has it called toString? And is this toString printing square bracket I at the rate and the hexadecimal code, which is called as a hash code? Try to change the data type and see. Suppose I am making it Boolean. New Boolean means I am creating 5 size Boolean array. Okay? See here, I am compiling it, I am printing it. Is it printing false? Means it proves that every array will have their default value. And what is the name of the class? Can you see the proxy class name is square bracket Z at the rate and that hexadecimal code. Is it or no? Clear? Means tell me, if I would have created object of my class only, array test. Can I create a array test at equal to new array test? Can we do it? And can I pass to SOP at? It is 100% valid. Can I create an object of my class only and pass this at? So if I pass at, here also at dot what is called? toString. But you will say there is no toString in my class. No problem. Is your class going to have an automatic parent? Who is the automatic parent of your class? Who is the automatic parent of your array test? Is your class name. Who is the automatic parent of this class?
At
My dear student, I have told you so many times that in Java no class is orphan. Means does Java provide one automatic class as a parent who is not having parent? So test class is not having parent. So who is the automatic parent of your array test class? Why you are forgetting? Just now Shreya answered. Object. Then is object class the parent of your array test class? It has to be. So when you are writing, at is just the notation to separate the class name and the hexadecimal hash code. Just to separate it, they are using at. At is nothing. At is not having any significance. This is class name and this is the hash code. Just to separate it, they are putting at the rate sign. Getting or no? So this at is the object of array test. Who is the parent of array test if it is not having parent? If it is not having parent, who is the automatic parent? Object class. and will it give call to toString of object class? Getting? So here also will it print the class name array test at the rate and some hexadecimal code? Getting or no? So what is to be concluded? That you create any type of object and you pass it to SOP, it is sure going to call which method? Whenever you pass an object to SOP, if you pass an object, what is implicitly called? toString. Is it printing? See here, false, square bracket z at the rate this thing, and here can you see array test at the rate and a hexadecimal code, that is the hash code. Getting or no? Now Java has given provision of declaring the array, instantiating the array and initializing the array also. All three things you can do at a time: declare, instantiate and initialize also with some value. Getting, guys? Here we have done two steps: declare and instantiate. I am saying declare, instantiate and initialize also. Getting? Java has given that provision. How to do it? See here. Data type, array name, square bracket equal to, and directly in the brace bracket enlist your value. Getting? And semicolon. Meaning Java says new is implied over here. Implied means assume. Assume that here new has come. Getting? And in the brace bracket directly enlist the value. Okay, but you can use this notation also. Data type, array name, square bracket, new data type, okay, square, and then enlist values in a brace bracket. Getting? Here you have explicitly used new. Here new is implied. Implied means assumed. Assume that here new is used. Here you are explicitly telling. But always remember, whenever you are declaring the array, instantiating the array and initializing. Declaring, instantiating and initializing. Okay? In square we are not allowed to give the size. You are not supposed to give. If you give size, it will give an error. Here also and here also. Why we are not supposed to give the size here? Because you have enlisted the value. When you are not enlisting, then you have to give the size. Please understand. Getting or no? Clear? See here.
Yes.
Both way I am telling you. Integer a square equal to brace bracket and I am giving the values. Directly I am enlisting the value. Okay? Same thing I could have written like this: integer a square, new int square and brace bracket 4723. Both are valid. This and this both are equivalent. See here what has happened. Pictorially I will try to show you. Okay, one on the stack, one reference variable a is created, in which the reference has not come yet. Yet the reference has not come. Getting? Then see, as there are 4 elements, it will allocate memory for 4 integers only. Okay? Length will be initialized to 4. But this length which I have initialized to 4 is final. You cannot modify it. If you try to modify it, it will give an error. Okay? And in that array, as you have given the list of values 4723, it will store it in this array, and this whole thing is encapsulated into that proxy class object, and the reference of this object will come in A. You understanding? Clear? Hope it is clear. For both the same thing is going to happen. This and this is same. Here new is assumed. Getting? And here new you are writing. Okay guys? Okay? Now one thing I have to tell you, when we have to use this style, the second one, that I have to explain. Means when the second style will be useful. Now these both are equivalent. But when the second style only you have to use, this second style compulsory you have to use. That I'll tell you. When from these three steps, declaration, instantiation, initialization. Three steps are there. Declaration of array, instantiation of the array, and initialization of the array. If you are doing declaration first and instantiation and initialization later, you are understanding or no? You are declaring first and instantiation and initialization later, then you cannot write this syntax. It is illegal. Declaration first and instantiation and initialization later. That time if you try to do like this, then new is not coming implied. Here new is not implicitly assumed. This is an illegal syntax. That time you have to explicitly use new and then initialize the value. Getting? Means in such situation what you have to do, declare if you are doing first and instantiation and initialization later, then you have to do this explicitly, that is new, and then give the list of value. But still here remember, when you are giving list of value, you are not allowed to give the size over here. Getting guys? Okay? I hope it is clear. If you want, I'll just quickly give here one more example. That boolean I'll keep it as it is. Suppose if I'm writing system.out.println a.length, can we do it? Yes, we can access that length property. That itself proves that as it is a property and you are accessing it by dot, this itself proves your array is an object of its proxy class. Getting? Suppose I am creating a double array. Suppose double b square equal to, and directly I am writing the values. Okay? Here also, if I pass system.out.println b, what is going to happen, guys? What is going to get called over there? What will be called over here? Implicitly, what will be called? B of 3 if I write. Tell me here implicitly what is called.
Second output it will be print 3 arrays, and in first it will be print 2 string.
It will call to string, right? System.out.println b. Will it give call to toString? Yes. And will that toString print its proxy class name, @ and a hexadecimal number? And here b of 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So at third place 4.5 is there. It will display that. And if suppose I am writing system.out.println b.length, valid, no? When I say b.length, that itself proves that though it is an array, for Java it is a object only, and it's an object of the proxy class, and in that object this length is a final property. So here how many values are there? 3 and 3, 6. The number of elements in your array are 6. It will give 6. Getting? Check here. Compile it. Check it. See. Check for the second case. Getting? Is it printing the proxy class name? Square bracket D at the rate and a hexadecimal number. Then B of 3 it is printing 4.5. And B dot length it is giving 6. Whereas A dot length it is printing 5. Getting? Because that array is of 5 size. You understanding or no? Okay? If I try to modify that length, A dot length equal to 10 if I will it allow, guys? What do you say? If I try to change the length, will it allow? When I was explaining, I told also it is a which type of property.
It will not print 10.
No, but I am not printing, I am assigning, my dear. I am assigning 10 to that length property. B dot length 10. I am trying to store 10 in that length property. I am trying to make this 4 as 10. Will it allow you to change that property? I told you this.
No.
Why? Because that property is
Final property.
then everything I am telling you guys, each and every word you have to remember what I am telling. Getting? So length is a which property? Final property. And as it's a final property, you cannot modify it. Final is same as constant. Getting? See here. Does it generate an error? And read the error. Cannot assign a value to final variable length. This proves what? Length is a which variable? Final variable, final property. And final are same as const of C++. Once you initialize, you cannot modify. Is it already initialized with 6 at the time when the array got created? When the array got created, it is already initialized with, now here it is 4, whatever, that B array is initialized to 6. And as it is initialized once, you cannot change it. Getting or no? Please understand each and everything what I tell you. Okay? Now you can create a array of references also. That is array of objects. Here we created array of primitives. Was it an array of 5 booleans? Is this an array of 6 doubles? 6 doubles. This is 5 booleans. But 5 booleans, 6 double, they all are what? Primitives. No? Is this a primitive value? Are that all 5 booleans primitive? Same way you can create an array of objects. But you know that in Java object means reference. So if you create array of object, will it be array of references? Like in C, will it be array of pointers? Like that. Okay? See here. How the mechanism is that I'll tell you. Assume there is class cat over here. Class cat. For time being, I am keeping it empty. For time being, let it be. It's an empty class. Class cat. Now what I want to do is, I want to create an array of 5 cats. 5 cat array I want to create. Means 5 cat objects. 1 cat object, 2 cat object, 3 cat object. Likewise 5 cat objects array I want to create. Getting, guys? If you are writing like this, see here. Cat C square. This is just the array declaration. Understand, guys? This is just the array declaration. Now it will create C as a reference variable. But later, guys, when I'm writing C equal to new cat 5, many think that it has created 5 array of 5 cat objects. Many will think that it has created an array of 5 cat objects. Please understand, guys, it has just created an array of 5 cat object references. You understanding? It has created an array of 5 cat object references, yet the objects are not created. Cat objects are not yet created. You understanding? Only the reference of that 5 cat objects are created. You understanding why? Because in Java, when you create object, also there are 2 steps: object creation and object instantiation. Tell me, in Java, when we write cat money, is the object created or only object is declared? Means is just money reference variable created? Yes or no? And unless and until you write new cat round bracket, it won't create a copy of cat class. It will create a copy of cat class, allocate memory for its data members like cat name or cat length, cat height, cat weight, cat breed, cat color, and then the reference will come here. Isn't it? The same thing here when I wrote C square. Obviously the reference of what is going to come in it? Array of cat objects. Array of cat objects. Okay? In C. But when you wrote C equal to new cat 5, it has just created an array of 5 references. Getting? And here also there will be length property which will be initialized to 5. Getting, guys? And this will be put into one object, a proxy class. Now you'll say, what is its proxy class? The proxy class name is square bracket cat. I'll print and show you that too, don't worry. Okay? But please remember that 5 cat objects are not yet created. Only what is happened, the reference space is created. Meaning you have decided that you are going to purchase 5 bikes. Getting? So you have just made the provision to store the keys of that 5 bikes. Means you have just created a key holder in your house. Getting? In which you are going to store the keys of your 5 bikes. 5 bikes have not come yet. Same way, 5 cat objects are not yet created. Only the space to keep the references of that 5 cat are created. Getting, guys? And when you will write C of 0 equal to new cat, like this in a for loop, for I equal to 0, I less than n, I'll write 5, I plus plus. Okay, guys? See here. And I'm writing C of I equal to new cat round bracket. Now it is actually going to create one cat object. It will allocate memory for cat data members, height, length, or height, weight, color, breed, and the reference of this is kept in C of 0. Getting? Again, second cat object created. Its reference at C of 1. Third cat object, C of 2. This is going to happen. You are getting or no? All of you. Clear? So therefore remember, if you forget to do this activity, getting? If you are forgetting to do this and you are trying to access something of that C object, if you try to access something, like here in this cat object, I have written one method called public void meow, and it is just printing system.out.println meow. Okay? Getting, guys? See here. I forgot to do this activity, and directly I'm calling C of 0 dot meow. Means I'm calling meow method for 0th object, because you are thinking that you have created 5 cat objects. Getting? New cat square bracket 5. So you are thinking 5 cat objects are created, and the reference of that whole 5 cat object array has come in C. So C of 0 dot meow. Will it generate some runtime error? If you remember the features of Java, when I taught features of Java, in that I have taught you Java is robust and secure. In that I told Java does strict compile time type checking and runtime type checking. If I compile this program, is it 100% perfect? Syntactically, is there any problem? No. You compile and see, it won't give any error. This is correct syntax, you are calling meow method of 0th object, no problem. You understanding? It won't give any error. Okay? But at runtime, when you try to call 0th object's meow, will it raise, is anyone remembering? At runtime, will it throw an exception? If anyone remember, I'd be very happy to hear. C of 0 dot meow. Tell me, yet these objects are not created because this for loop is not run. Getting? So what will be there at all these places? Can anyone tell me? If I'm not doing this for loop, so what will be there in this array by default? What was there in your A array by default when we didn't give values?
0.
Because it's an integer array. When I did Boolean array, then what was the default?
False.
False. So what will be there in the reference array? As it's an array of objects, and object means reference. What will be there by default over here?
Null.
Null. Getting, guys? And if you want, you can tally also. You can tally and see. Here you try to print and see what is there. System.out.println C of 2. Try to print. And suppose for time being I'll put this also in comment. Getting? Each and every basic thing I'm trying to tell you. Is it printing null?
Yes.
What does it prove when it is printing null? What does it prove? Does it prove that 5 objects are created, or is only an array of 5 object references created? In Marathi, 5 objects तयार झाले का त्या 5 ऑब्जेक्टचा रेफरन्स ठेवायला फक्त एक अरे तयार झाला?
5 ऑब्जेक्टचा रेफरन्स ठेवायला एक ॲरे तयार झाला.
बरोबर. Clear? Is it clear to you guys? 5 objects references array is created. 5 objects are not born yet, my dear student, and that is the reason it was printing null. And therefore tell me, if I forget to do this for loop, getting, and I try to call meow method of C of 0, getting, check here, C of 0. So I am coming to C of 0 and that object's meow method I am trying to call. Is it legal to call? ऑब्जेक्ट अजून जन्मालाच आलेला नाहीये, तर त्याचे इन्कम टॅक्स फाईल कसं करणार तुम्ही? कळताय ना? तो म्हणजे तो ऑब्जेक्ट तर जन्माला येऊ द्या आधी, मग बघू ना आपण त्याचं नाव काय द्यायचं, मग त्याच्या नावाने किती प्रॉपर्ट्या घ्यायच्या, काय म्युच्युअल फंड, शेअर्स, काय जे घ्यायचं आहे ते जन्मालाच आलं नाही, तर त्याच्या आधीच त्याचे मेथड्स कॉल करू शकता का? नाही. गेटिंग? तो व्हेन यू आर रायटिंग C of 0 dot meow, so at C of 0 there is no reference only. Getting, guys? So how it will call meow method? So will it throw a runtime exception? Yes or no? And just recall what will be that exception. If you remember that point, Java is robust and secure. That time also I have taught you. It will throw null pointer exception. See here, compilation was 100% fine because there was no syntax error, but when you are running it, it will throw a exception. Can you see? It throws an exception, null pointer exception. Why? Because you are trying to call meow method of 0th object, but at 0th place there is no reference only of object. ऑब्जेक्टचा रेफरन्सच नाही तर त्या ऑब्जेक्टचा म्याव मेथड कसा कॉल करू शकता तुम्ही? नाही ना. बट टेल मी, इफ आय रिमूव दिस कमेंट, तो व्हॉट विल हॅपन नाव? विल दिस फॉर लूप create 5 objects now of cat class? Store here.
Yes.
Clear? Will it create 5 objects? Clear? Of
Yes.
cat class and store the references. And therefore now if you write c of 0.meow, so will it call meow method for 0th object? For 0th object will it call meow method? Yes. Now there won't be any error because आता बाळ जन्माला आलेलं आहे, मग आता तुम्ही त्याच्या नावाने काही करू शकता. Clear? See. And now is it calling that meow method, and is meow method printing meow? I hope you got it. Clear? Concept करतो है का? Getting? But tell me guys, when I created this array of 5 size and then you are trying to print c of 2, so it has printed null. Tell me if I write c of out system.out.println and c, is your c itself also object? Is this c itself also object? Yes. Is it an object of some proxy class?
Yes.
Getting? So is it going to call some magic method over here when I wrote SOP print C? Will it call a magic method?
Yes.
Will it call toString?
Yes.
C dot toString. And will that toString also print its proxy class name? C. What is the name of that proxy class? Square bracket L cat semicolon @ and then the hash code. Getting? This way it creates the proxy class name. You got it? But tell me, if I write system.out.println c of I, at c of I also is there a reference of object c of I? Is there a reference of this cat object? So here also is it going to call toString? Right, but it will call toString for cat object, not for proxy object, because c of I contains cat object reference. So here will it print cat @ hash code? Getting? Because c of I contains cat object reference. See here. See. Is it printing cat @ hash code, cat @ hash code? Means it proves that 5 cat objects are created and their hash codes are printed, each cat objects. Okay, so hope the concept is clear. Based on this, in the next session some programs will try to solve, okay, based on these all concepts, and then I'll try to
program file send now.
Pardon?
Yesterday's
Okay,
program.
I'll show, I'll send you. Don't worry, I'll send you.
Okay, sir.